Glad to greet all of you who will be participating in our webinar, Accessible Tourism, a golden opportunity that needs a high-quality service and standards. Through participation in this webinar, you also actively participate in the European Union UNESCO4ALL project. I would like to give you a short introduction about this project. It is an innovative and inclusive tourism product addressed for people with visual impairments. But at the same time, the project includes all kinds of audience. We are focused to create an innovative product by transforming tactile models of artworks into verbal descriptions. With this product, people will have an opportunity to access the arts and to experience the outstanding value of the UNESCO cultural heritage. The selected cultural heritage sites are the Archaeological area and the Patriarchal Basilica of Aquileia in Italy, Cathedral Alcazar and Archivo de Indians in Sevilla in Spain, the Cathedral of St. James in Šibenik in Croatia, and the Rita Monastery in Bulgaria. Also, we would like to introduce you very briefly with our institution, the Typological Museum of the city of Zagreb, in one of the rare special museums in Europe, dealing with the problems of people with disabilities, especially of the visually impaired. With activities, the museum strives to introduce the social community to the world of those who are visually impaired, and in this way foster harmonious and tolerant relations among people, at the same time respecting the individuality of every person. The museum collects, stores, researches, documents, and communicates tangible and non-tangible materials related to people with different needs, with an emphasis on people with visual impairment. The Typological Museum was opened in 1953 and since then has developed 4 permanent exhibitions. It is a place where people with disabilities can actively participate in its activities, and a place that enables the social community to become familiar with the lives of people with disabilities. The museum actively cooperates with museum institutions, related organizations, educational facilities, with all those places dealing with disabilities, both here and abroad. The Archaeological Museum is a referral point for the museological issues related to the adjustment and accessibility for the people with disabilities, as well as to all vulnerable and excluded people. Museum experts work closely as consultants in other museums projects throughout the state and the region. The museum experts attend various sorts of professional training and participate in various professional and scientific conferences. Cultural heritage is a part of tourist offer. Unfortunately, people with disabilities still can't access and enjoy cultural heritage like others. The cultural tourism offers for people with disabilities does not reach the standards as it should, and in the part there is the opportunity to raise the quality. Therefore, in terms of changing the state of cultural tourism, the webinar has been created to increase the quality of European tourism destination. We want to draw attention and improve the knowledge and skills of those who work in the tourism and the culture field. Also, we would like to establish higher level of cooperation between public and private stakeholders in the tourism value chain. The name of the training is, as you can see, do not touch, but with red cross above the word not. With this small intervention, actually, we changed the usual paradigm. The red sign shows that changes are possible. What is labeled with the do not touch sign transforms into something that is available for touching and invites the users to get familiar with the item and to explore it. You will get to see two excellent examples of practice. One of them is the adaptation of the exhibition Prehistory in the Hands in the Archaeological Museum of Istria. The exhibition was set up in a way to show the prehistoric period in Istria in an easy to understand way for everybody. Children, elderly people, lovers of history, as well as people with disabilities who also apply to other categories as they are primary persons. The second example is Travel-Abled, the first Croatian travel agency for accessible tourism and accessibility in tourism. Their work is an example of how outstanding results can be achieved in a simple, innovative way. The expected duration of this training is about 30 minutes. The task in front of us use introduction of standards and needs that need to be met in a way that an exhibition becomes available and accessible to all, and as such becomes part of the tourist offer. Also, we think it is important to introduce you with the concept of the social model of disability, which indicates the need for new way of looking and understanding the concept of disability. After the training ends, everyone who participated will know that what is needed to create an exhibition that is accessible to those with visual impairments. The knowledge that will be adapted to the training, we believe, will straight positive changes, as well as the ability to see the potential of new market. During the webinar, we will often use words such as education, tourism, social model of disability, multisensory approach, and accessible exhibition. These words represent the main points that should be focused in future work. People with disabilities still do not have equal prejudice. Equal opportunities. It can be seen everywhere around us. Negative attitudes and prejudice about the abilities of people with disabilities are present. Although the UN Declaration on the Rights of Disabilities, full inclusion in the community, this is not the case in reality. Therefore, the European Council, in strategy concerning disability until 2023, also stressed the importance of raising equality, dignity, and the opportunities of people with disabilities. This requires securing independence, freedom of choice, full of active participation in areas of life and society, includes tourism and culture. Both as workers do out, for example, applied. It is important to encourage the people to use and options. We want to promote inclusion and participation of disabilities and
Sorry, just a second.
we want to import a social approach to people with disabilities. This will be very clear when comparing the social and medical model. The medical model is focused on the person, looking at the individual in a way that asks him what's wrong with him, what is the damage, which physical or other problems he has. Personal questions are asked and personal information is requested. The social model approaches disability in a different way. It observes the environment, identified obstacles and find way to solve them. Very often the problem of inaccessibility is connected to poor or no adaptability of the environment in finding the right solution. Solutions are possible. It is just important to rely on and apply your acquired knowledge and skills. Now we are going to watch an animated movie from which we will find out more about the social model of disabilities. often we can hear comments like to care about society. There are not so many of those people anyway. But we can ask ourselves, is the situation exactly like that, or do the statistics tell us something completely different? People with disabilities make up for 15 of the population. Globally speaking, that is 1 billion people worldwide. Of those people, 30 of them travel regularly and with a companion. According to the European Network for Accessible Tourism, ENAT, from 2012, this is a potential market of 133 million people. Therefore, we can say the numbers speak for themselves. People with disabilities are certainly a market to consider. In order to get to know more about what accessible tourism is, we need to look at two definitions. Accessible tourism and people with requirements, including mobility, vision, hearing, and cognitive dimensions of access, to function independently and with equity and dignity through the delivery of universally designed tourism products, services, and environments. This definition is inclusive of all people, including those traveling with children in prams, people with disabilities, and seniors. Within the accessibility areas, positive developments are evident. But museum and especially the tourist sector are still lacking the necessary knowledge about the social model of disability, basic guidelines about accessibility and adaptation, and how big the potential market is. It is therefore of utmost importance to constantly educate interest stakeholders within the museum, tourist, and other sectors. Travelability is the first creation for accessible tourism and accessibility in tourism. Promote global market, local preconditions to stable, accessible travel industry in country. The first and only Croatian travel agency in the field, the company is particularly invested in institutional cooperating and inter-regional projects that pay special care the accessibility of tourism destinations. Also, Travel-Able had to address issues and the potentials of the local accessible travel market, facing many challenges of accessible transport, serving provides destinations themselves. The company has explored the market and analyzed the obstacles and potentials of accessible tourism in Croatia, establishing partnerships with several similar agencies. It has also become a reference point for many local institutions and organizations that sooner of later tackle the issues of accessibility, giving advice and urging others to do the same and contribute to overall accessibility of the country, which would eventually benefit tourism in particular. The company is trying to pursue the Ministry of Tourism to focus more on the accessibility of Croatian national parks by asking all responsible authorities to join the common efforts of making the parks at least partially accessible. Travel is also accessible transport, especially the local rail transport system that still has many important issues to travel. Able has participated in Interreg and useful in the cities of Jastrebarsko and to similar inter-region projects in the cities of Osijek and Rijeka in near future. In order to make Zagreb more accessible and desirable tourist destination, Travel devised simple and portable sloppy ramps that provide easier access for disabled individuals to previously inaccessible public places. The collection of the museum at Pula was started during the first half of the 19th century by collecting stone monuments in the temple of Augustus. The discovery of stone, pottery and metal objects at Nisactium served as a base for the establishment of the museum. The institution was renamed as the Archaeological Museum of Istria in 1947 and has been continuously functioning until the present from its original premises. The Archaeological Museum of Istria is nowadays organized as the Archaeological Department, Documentation Department, Library Department, Education Department. Museum has also dislocated collections. Amphitheater at Pula, the Temple of Augustus, the Franciscan Monastery, and at Nesactium. The exhibition Prehistory in the Hand was born as a pilot project in an archaeological museum that has never before dealt with the focus group in blind and low-sighted people or wheelchairs users. The pilot exhibition was created as a collaboration between an archaeological restorer who was manager of the project and had the main role in the creation of the exhibition and coordinating between different specialization. The designer and people from the Association of the Blind of Istria country. The wish was to show the prehistoric period in Istria in an easy to understand way for everybody, children, elderly people, lovers of history, as well as people with disabilities, who also apply to other categories as they are primary persons. The exhibition was founded under the Interreg Central Europe program COMIN, aims at enhancing the Central European cultural heritage, increasing the capacities of small and medium-sized museums by making them accessible to wider public of people with different kinds of disabilities. As a part of the project, the short movie was done. The movie is about inclusion, and I invite you to watch it together.
Come in. Cooperating for open access to museums towards a wider inclusion is a European project that aims to improve the capacities of museum operators and to valorize the Central European cultural heritage by making it accessible for all. We focus on visitors and museums. People come first. We ensure that everybody can enjoy new cultural experiences in autonomy. Accessible museums. Small and medium-sized museum staff learn how to make cultural heritage more inclusive and attractive for new visitors. All people have the right to fully take part in the life of society. We developed a new tool to ensure consistent accessibility to a museum, focusing on all aspects relevant for visitors in different areas. Let's see how it works. The presence of architectural barriers, such as stairs, can limit the access to the museum. Also, the main entrance should have a facilitated opening usable by a too-high reception counter may completely hide a person, preventing clear communication with the staff. It is important to have easily identifiable directions and routes to access different areas independently. Different measures can be taken to allow everyone to enjoy the exhibition, such as audio and video information, touchable replicas, multi-sensory experiences, staff should be trained to address visitors in the appropriate language, and provide them with all information required. Special needs? No, just culture for all.
The premises of the exhibition were already accessible architecturally, so the main focus was on the accessibility of the objects, contents, and the supporting furniture. The museum staff had to learn about the needs of people with disabilities and arrange through possible tools to create an exhibition that could be accessible, interesting, and possibly easily transferable after the closing date. Also, the chosen designer of the exhibition had to learn about main issues to take care of when creating an accessible exhibition. Here we'll show you photos that represent what was done. Tactile surroundings, cave, Iron Age house, graves from Neolithic that people could touch. Object presented as replicas. Tactile drawings. Labels in and a catalog in Braille. Audio guide. Stripes for independently moving through the exhibition space. Display cases had contrasting stripes on their legs, certain height and hollow design. During the project workshop, how to interact with visually impaired people was organized for museum staff. 4 associations of people with disabilities were actively involved. Workshops of the themes of prehistory and race awareness of the needs of people with disabilities were organized for schools and kindergarten. In order to equalize the opportunities for all and to create an inclusive access, it is important for professionals to know what needs to be done in order to make all visitors feel welcome in the ongoing programs. It is important to know what good preparation is half of the job. Also, it is important to emphasize the need for adaptation for everyone, to know that tactile stripes make it easier for visitors to move independently, to set the lighting correctly, and how to arrange the space so people in wheelchairs can move around it. Enlarged prints, text and legends in Braille script, audio and verbal descriptions, as well as tactile diagrams will allow the visually impaired to enjoy and learn about the exhibition. When setting up the exhibition, it should be pointed out that the front size, its selection, alignments and spacing of both the catalog and all text is very important because it makes it easier for many, for example, older people, to read and handle the text easier. Mrs. Taylor's statement we accentuate as the confirmation about everything we talked. We ourselves can very often make a person more severely disabled than they are by our non-doing. With this in mind, we created this training. To become aware, we can and must do positive changes with our knowledge, so that all people, regardless of their abilities, should become equal participants in cultural events. If you have any questions, we are willing to answer any questions. Thank you very much. This is finish of our presentation.